Yes, yes. Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Good rising. All that great stuff. I have an amazing show today. I have this amazing people. They are awesome. I can't even go into just all the stuff that they do. I lose my words, to be honest with you. I see how my words, y'all know usually I'm like, I'm for it, but like I'm so hyped right now. So let me slow down and let me breathe and let me woo-side out. I have two amazing people here today at the Ouch Girl Show. So welcome, everybody. I'm so glad that y'all are paying attention. I'm so glad that you tuned in. I am grateful for your support, feedback, everything. These two here, Sean and Twyla, they be doing big things in these streets. I told y'all, I did. I posted it. I was like, they doing big things in these streets.
All right.
That's exactly how I put it. But they are doing a lot. Sean here, as a matter of fact, I'm going to start with you, Sean. Started this program, and it's called T-Limbs. But y'all, when he breaks it down, what it is and what it means, I mean, y'all know I breathe creative energy. I exude creative energy. So, like, when he breaks this down, you're going to be like, what happened? You be like, what y'all do is so much, and it's so much positive stuff and so much support and help to so many people with the stuff that they do. It is awesome. It is a blessing. I love it. It's awesome. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Mr. Sean.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sean, and the name of our organization is called T-Limbs, which represents, the letters represents the Lord is my shepherd,
Yes.
which gives us our spiritual foundation, because we can do all things through Jesus Christ, who strengthens me. Of course, you guys know. And so, never give up on your dreams, because this idea came to me like 20 years ago, and it's been fermenting for 20 years. And so at this point now, the tree is ready to blossom. The limbs, as it represents the branches of a tree. Yes. So we're not pigeon-toed into one particular area, because there's so much that we need to address, and it's enough for everybody to get a piece of the pie. We're a civil-minded organization. We try to be involved in self-empowerment,
Yes.
self-awareness, and we are tired of waiting, and we're tired of being tired. So
Sick and tired of being tired.
it's time to do something now, and so the time is now, and so this is what we do, and this is where we're heading.
See, and this makes me happy, y'all, because we're going to get into, we're about to break down the T-limbs, because like you said, it's like a tree with the branches and roots.
Yes.
Because y'all putting down roots in certain places, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's not play these games. See what I mean?
Oh,
yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It makes me happy, like I'm filled with joy, because, yes, T-limbs is actually, it speaks words. It's just everything that it does, like from the tree, from the roots to the base of the tree, and then to the branches, and just like it does so much. It's the perfect name, actually, the perfect acronym for what he does, because the Lord is my shepherd. Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. I guess.
Go ahead, let the spirit hit you.
I know, it just
let the spirit hit you.
So it is totally exciting. So we're going to start. So like you said, he was sitting on this, 20 years ago you thought of this.
Yes, yes.
And see how it still came out into fruition. No matter how long, because that's just like my clothing line. I thought of that name years ago. My boys was babies, and then by the time they graduated and went to the military, I was like, all right, it's time for Ebony. It's Ebony's turn. Let's go. So yes, you can say that's awesome. That creative energy, that makes me happy, sir. So
again, I want to add,
yes.
Even whatever your dream is, always endeavor to persevere.
Yes.
Right. It may not happen tomorrow.
Right.
But if you feel it, to give an example, I wrote a song, and it's called Heart's Dreams. When the heart's dreams, you can do most anything. So if it's truly in your heart,
yes.
And if you feel it, you're going to pursue it.
You're
so
right.
Never give up on your dreams, and always endeavor to persevere. It may look bleak, but on the outside of that storm is your sunshine.
And y'all know I'm 100% on that because I didn't have everything together. And I was listening. I know I was meant to hear this on Steve Harvey. I say this every show. But I knew I was meant to hear that one section. He was like, if you wait for all your ducks to be laid in a row, if you're just sitting there waiting, he said, you're never going to do it. He said, just jump, because if it's meant for you, everything's going to unfold in front of you. So I told you, I held my nose. I was like, all right, let's go. And I jumped. And I'm being honest, everything is unfolding in front of me. I learn as I go. I make mistakes, but then those mistakes, I don't get mad. It's enlightening for me. So when I did it, because then now I know what to do and what not to do the next time. And then I'm grateful because I have an actual second opportunity to do it again. So to me, that's all blessings to me.
And again, it's stepping out on faith.
Yes.
Again, we try to wait until
everything's perfect.
all our ducks is lined up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
you'll never
one
do
duck
it.
could be just
Because
you know what I mean? And you're waiting for this duck, right? You know, and he never gets there. So again, you have to step out on faith because you know. So now again, I talk about our spiritual foundation, and everything you have to have a spiritual foundation. Because again, you can do all things through Christ Jesus. So, and if you or Muhammad or I don't want to, you know, just have a relationship with a spiritual relationship, because that is what's going to guide you and give you the strength and the push when days are bleak. So again, you have to step out on that faith. You can't live in fear.
No, you cannot do that.
That's not even living.
That's not living.
That's
exactly.
That's
so, yeah.
I'm with you. No, because we can go. No, I love this. You know, you can go all into different facets from this.
Exactly.
It's a lot. It's a lot that can come from this. So, okay, so with the T-Limbs, let's start with the first thing that you're doing with it, because there's so much, y'all, that there's so much that doing good stuff that I want to make sure we hit everything, because they're offering so many things. And also can use the help as well from others to join. That's another thing as well. So let's start with the first thing that T-Limb is on, because there's so much.
Again, first and foremost, I said self-empowerment.
Yes.
We've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for somebody else to do something for us. It's time now for us to step out there and do it for ourselves. So again, if you have a vehicle or an avenue to which you can get that start, here it is. Let's take advantage of it. Let's do it now. Let's quit waiting for whomever to give us this, because you know, if it's something that they don't agree with, they're going to put you on the back burner, and you're going to sit there and lose your interest. Exactly. So it'll never get done. So again, I'll let Twyla explain a little bit more as to
because it's a lot.
We're baby boomers, so we remember the Kennedys, remember King, remember Malcolm, remember Medgar, remember Fred Hampton and Huey and Bobby Seale. Remember the Chicago Democrat convention when you had Abby Hoffman, here come the, See, so we grew in this time of transition, and even Kent State, which was near our home, the shooting that occurred on the 4th of May, 1970, vividly like yesterday. So we saw these different things, and in those times, we remember the activism that was so prolific. And then we also are part of that same generation that saw it die. So that made us, as adults, be in a quandary about where to go and what to do, because the leaders that came before us, they've done some fantastic things.
Oh, I know.
And this is not to take anything from them. But just like the church, a lot of times people sit in a position too long. They will take a spot. You've been trained on how to do something. And then when it's time to let you at least try it, now you're there mentoring me. So if I mess up, snatch me back and get me back. They won't. They held on. And so we have empty churches today because people don't want to hand it over. And in the community, it's the same way. You have the same people being voted in to different offices. There's no reason why we should have congressmen that sit there for 30 years. I'm sorry, your expertise is wonderful, but times continue to change.
Right.
There's no reason why we have the same people that are heads of civic organizations. This person shifts to this person, and then they comes back. So then there's no room for the young people to jump in and
You're
for
right.
us.
You're right.
So what happened was that our generation has kind of like jumped back and sat back and kind of sat down because like you
waiting
felt like
for
you're
our turn.
muted.
Not to, okay. You're supposed to respect your elders.
But we were
True,
muted.
but I expect my elders to teach me so when it's my time, we don't miss a beat.
Yeah.
You know, but we've come to a place to whereas they have the ball or the baton, if you will, instead of passing it off, they held it. And so now,
Burning down the
our
embers.
particular generation, we're running in place. And the second generation behind us, they're not even on the track.
Yeah, no, they're
You,
not.
you know what I mean?
At all.
And so now, eventually, you're going to get tired of sitting there on the track. And so eventually, I'm going to wander off and do my own thing. And of course, now, if you get a bunch of people doing their own thing,
Nothing gets done.
nothing gets done. Let me say this right quick. Like you were saying about, you know, the Congress people that's been on the bench too long. We had various organizations back in the day, the NAACP, the SCLC.
Oh, yeah, we're calling it out.
To the point,
calling it out.
just saying some names, so don't y'all
Just
get
so-
offended. And
so we know when we say who
you don't know
and
my
they.
address, so you can't write me. So anyway, so
I can't.
anyway, no, but you know something, like this so-called carcass that's in Congress now.
Congressional Black Caucus is what he said.
Now, what's a carcass?
Something that's dead.
Something that's dead. When's the last time they've been relevant? Thank you very much.
So
You heard the birds chirping, right?
Yes.
we come on this because what we see is there's needs. You see these needs and no one's addressing them. You see children out here who have parents that are incarcerated. You have parents, you have homelessness out here.
Yes.
You have guys that are going to prison and coming back, and then you're being told, you got to have a job. You got to have a place to stay. You got. But even in PG County, there's only one homeless shelter.
Are you serious?
Only one. There's a church that has an organization that will try to have churches have cots and they'll move around and have people sleeping, but they are always full because all they can do is, if this church volunteers their space, that's it. You have a lot of educated people, a lot of people who have resources, a lot of people have needs, and I'm saying this, every black person in this country came from some place called nothingness. And the way we were able to come up is because we shared our resources, we shared ourselves.
Yeah.
And now we've gotten into this generation or this group where I got mine, you get yours. But that's not how it's supposed to go.
'Cause now we're up in the big leagues, getting our turn at bat. So, but the bat boy ain't bringing the bats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, we're in position to bring
do
about change, to do something, but nothing is being done. Actually, I call them gatekeepers or intercessors. So they're not allowed in the ivory tower, but they won't let you in the gate. So all they do is, you know, and so again, there's more of them now than there was then. I think back then you might have had, I'm going to Uncle Tom's Cabin, Sambo, you know what I mean? And see, a lot of people get that story mixed up. See, they think Uncle Tom is the villain in the book.
Right.
In actuality, if you read the book, Sambo is the villain. So again, taking that and putting a twist on it, so now we took Tom, if you will, and made him the bad guy, and it's so significant in our society now that we
Say stuff and don't read.
exactly and don't realize what we're saying.
Yeah, that's happened to me before.
But TLIM's, as far as we're talking about the returning citizens, is that in Fairmont Heights, which is right outside of D.C.
Okay.
Shout out to Mayor Lily Martin. She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You said Mayor Lily Martin?
Lily
Yes.
Martin.
Okay.
She is phenomenal. Any person that retires and then the city asks you to come back out of retirement to run for election again.
Oh, then you was doing your thing.
Okay, that says a lot. So what we're doing is called Back Home, Back in Stride. These gentlemen, black men, Caucasian men, whoever lives who's a resident of Fairmont Heights, who's a male, they'll get dress shirt, tie, dress pair of
I saw
pants, 3 undershirts, 3 pairs of drawers, undergarments, 3 pairs of dress socks, and shoes. We have partnered with a couple stores that they can go in. They don't have anything in their hands. They can
Right.
just go and then get fitted for a nice pair of shoes. That way they have a decent outfit to wear. The women, it's all, now we're not saying anything about returning citizen women, but women always have an opportunity to get something to wear, decent.
Oh, I know.
But,
yeah.
Or it's easier,
It
shall I
is.
say. But the men don't. And so we're thankful that she allowed us to
That's awesome.
partner with her for that. It's important. You have no idea the self-esteem many men have because they don't have the proper attire to go for the interview. That's why a lot of guys don't go to the interview because they don't have the right stuff to wear.
Yeah.
So this is something that Sean thought about, real tough, and we talked about it and like, okay, well now, where do we go with this? Because what can we really do? There's a lot of ideas you have and there's a lot of things to address.
Yes.
And you got to figure out, pare down what can we realistically accomplish.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. So that's one. Now, is that program called a certain name, or is that just under the
Back in Stride.
Back Home and Back in Stride. And what that does is give men that come
from
Who
Fairmont
was
Heights.
formerly incarcerated.
Okay, so men that are formerly incarcerated, when they come in Fairmont, that live in that area, you give them the clothing to go to interviews, job interviews, and so
Yes.
forth. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Right down
Yes.
to the shoes, to everything, because you just said everything. You dress them completely.
Nothing, because there's nothing worse than having a messed up pair of shoes you can't
Yeah,
your feet.
yeah. You dress them from head to toe. That is awesome. So that's the first one, y'all, because they got many more now. I'm just gonna give y'all a heads up, but it's good stuff. So they have many more. So this is the first one of the T limb, under the T limbs. The Lord is my shepherd.
She likes it.
I do. Under T limbs. So that's part of like a branch. That's part of that tree. That's one branch. Yes.
That's one branch.
That's one branch. Because y'all know this stuff excites me because this is like this creative stuff. Okay, so now that's one. So let's start with another one. Because there's so many. She couldn't even fit it all in the email so much.
Well, we write.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll start it. You finish it.
Okay.
But again, again, self-empowerment. T-limbs give you the opportunity to be who you are, to say what you want to say, and not be censored by the power structure, if you will.
But there's no hate speech or anything like that.
Well,
We
yeah,
don't
no,
do
we're
anything
not.
hate, no.
Yeah, because we don't want to
But
attract
if
that.
you were
No.
to put together a play and how you visualize this play, and you want it hard hitting, and you want it to have a street beat, I guess, if you will.
Okay.
So you're going to use the jargon that the street uses, whereas here comes, well, no, that's too street, or you need to soften it, or whatnot. But the thing is, again, you have an opportunity to say it your way.
Okay.
And more importantly, instead of waiting for them to give you a break,
Okay.
you create your own break.
Yes, please and thank you.
That's in turn, like I say, with writing, the musical thing. You know what I mean?
Let me jump in on there real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay. The things that we write about, because we are writers, but we also look for other writers too to collaborate with things. One of the pieces that we're working on right now is deals with racism in America and the protest about racism.
Okay.
Now, most times you see different types of plays set a certain kind of way, but we have people think in the box. I don't even know if we know what a box looks like.
I know that's right.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
She said they don't know what, because I don't either.
Exactly, because you know, I was thinking about this today, and I was trying to describe myself as I think outside the box, but then that became too small for me, to the point that I don't see the box
At all.
at all.
Right.
So again, I don't now, and it's like I said, it's funny you should mention that you know, okay, what box?
Yeah. So the play that we're doing, this one particular play.
Because I get excited. I'm trying to contain my energy. I'm just sitting there like this.
Let it go.
Yeah.
This one is actually going to be talking about something that people keep talking about but aren't really talking about doing anything about it. You know what I mean? Let me jump backwards a minute. President Obama was the first black man to sit in the office,
Right.
and not taking anything away from him. Eric Holder was his attorney general.
Okay.
But our question, and it's a legitimate question, is that there were unarmed black men, women, and children getting shot across this country.
Yeah.
Why was there never a federal mandate to go down to each of the state's attorneys generals to do an investigation as to why are the police officers being found innocent or not being charged? I'm a former police officer myself, so I know how it's supposed to go. I know when you're supposed to pull that weapon out.
Yeah.
I know how you're supposed to be trained.
Your training.
I know how you're supposed to do for backup. And I'm telling you, just on the peripheral and even some of the cases, because I actually use the Freedom of Information Act and get copies of the actual files, see what they said in court, the things you don't see in the newspapers.
Right.
And I said, well, then this doesn't make sense, because this question wasn't asked, this question wasn't asked, this question wasn't asked.
Stuff is not
Why
added
wasn't
up.
this person's background is this? Why was this person even allowed to be on the jury? I ask questions like that. So I still wonder, you know, I'm not an attorney, but I'm just saying. So why has not been a national push? And even if it didn't come from the White House, why can't it come from the ground up to say? So this play that we have, there was a gentleman named Amadou Diallo who was killed in New York. He was shot 44 shots.
Is that the one that had the cell phone in his back
40
pocket?
He had his ID card. He had a wallet.
Oh.
There were 4 plainclothes police officers that watched him walk by. They were in car. He didn't know who they were. But when you have somebody starting to follow, you kind of walk kind of fast.
Yeah.
Now, he was an immigrant. And so he thought in his mind that maybe they just want to see that I'm legit or something, or maybe it's, you know, maybe
Yeah.
he didn't know. He didn't know what was going on. So he had his wallet, and he pulled the wallet out. And as he pulled it, he's at the doorsteps of his apartment.
I remember that.
And they shot him.
I remember that.
No one went to jail behind it. One officer ended up getting promoted afterwards, and he's still in the police department. Please tell me and explain that to me. And that was just like the beginning of sorrows of this dispensation, because we know lynching and other things have occurred in our history too. But that was like that. His life was a piece of trash for a mistaken identity.
Yeah.
How are we? One thing about black folks, we all don't look alike. 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 So how can you tell me that the identity was mistaken? Sometimes when they say the identity of a person, how can a person who's 5'10" be mistaken for someone who's 6'1"? You can't make that make sense. Even at night, you can't make that. So this is the thing. There was a young man who was working in a bodega in New York. He was being robbed. This young man was 17 years old. He called the police. He called them for help. He was able to run away, to break loose. 2 guys were pursuing him. They had tried to rob him. The police killed him. His family's still trying to get justice for him, and they weren't even charged. There was a young man and his girlfriend. They were in an apartment building, walking down a hallway. He just got his hair braided. He was going to take her to Florida to meet his family because he was going to get married. Police officer comes down and shoots him. They're doing nothing. They weren't talking to anybody. They were arm in arm together, and then watched them bleed out. Neighbors saw that. He and another officer were trying to get their stories together. Nothing's done, and the outrage is vivid. A young lady in Texas, there was a domestic in her home. She called the police. She opens the door for the police, and the sheriffs blow her away in front of her children.
Wow.
There's so much happening that
There's
we
so
don't
many
hear.
stories that we don't know about.
Okay.
Now, again, let's say in the 50s and the 60s when, this is sad to say, but lynching was the thing, and this was going on and nothing was being done, and here it is in the 2000s.
Yes.
It's a new lynching, but it's done with a bullet. And so...
And a gavel.
And very good. And a gavel.
Right.
Because you know something, whereas it was word of mouth, your word against my word, we weren't believed. But when you actually see it and they show
It's
it...
like a slap in the face, though, to me.
Yeah,
It's
you know
like,
what I
it's
mean?
on
Like,
camera,
okay,
you got
so
witnesses, I mean...
Maybe that's why justice has a blindfold, in order not to see true justice. Because even when you see it, you make an excuse as to, and why aren't the people outraged? Because if it could happen to me, well, then again, it could happen to you.
Yeah.
We have 5 children We have 5 children. 1 son. We have grandsons. All of our grandsons, well, Gabe is on his way, but they're all tall boys, oversized, tall boys. They're mild-mannered fellas, but they can easily be mistaken.
I know.
It's sorrow. It's a sorrow to me every day when I think about someone's child is getting shot, someone's not coming home, and it's not being assuaged. Now, I do have a problem. We do have a problem with blacks killing blacks.
Yeah.
Make no mistake. But the fact of the matter is that we're paying these people. Police officers are paid by taxpayer dollars. I'm paying you to slaughter my own community. I'm paying your salary. I'm paying your retirements. I'm paying your buyouts. Heck, the taxpayers pay out when they do have civil cases. Where do you think the money comes from?
Yeah.
So we're paying for this. So the play addresses these things. And then what we're doing is that we want local talent. When we're finished with this, so we want local talent to be solicited for different parts and roles in here.
That's awesome.
And then we partner with Ray Wilkerson, who has Exodus House down in Atlanta, Georgia. If you have a person who's returning citizen, Exodus House is the place to go.
Okay.
His programs is phenomenal. And he has financial programs for people who are just everyday citizens too.
Okay.
But we're taking this play around because we want to put it in your face. But proceeds of the play, a portion of the proceeds are going to go to families who never got compensated.
Okay.
Because a lot of these gentlemen and a lot of these women have children, and they left these children behind. I'll say this, and this is the last thing I'll say about that. There was a gentleman in Florida who got killed a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it was an unjustified, well, they said it was justified, but in the civil case, his family won a civil case. But guess how much they said his life was worth?
I think I read on that one too.
$6.
Yeah.
They got $1 for each child and $2 for the funeral arrangement. $6.
Well,
I could
also,
eat a burger for less than for more. Not that I would, but you know what I'm saying. $6, and you stop and you think about it a minute. That man's life, everything was worth $6. His family did not receive a dime besides $6, and of course $6 is taxed when you have a judgment.
Yeah.
So how much did they actually really get for his life?
again, where's the outrage?
None.
This black on black thing, just to touch on that, that's something that's been handed down, and it's just at this point really exploded. Now, when the slave owner had to discipline the slave, the runaway, some of them didn't do it, but they had a black guy, they had picked somebody out to do the whipping.
Yeah.
So now, that happens time and time again and time again until it becomes desensitized, such as the B word. You used to call a person, you had to fight.
Yeah.
Now, women embrace it, but media desensitize it. So now they wear it like a badge of honor. I'm the baddest bee. Really? I'm talking about you. You know what I mean? In street language, I'm cussing you out. So again, that's not no term of endearment. So again, some of their tricks and the media and how things are portrayed, and it's escalated to this point now to whereas, you know something, our young kids don't have any hope. We have failed them. I apologize to any young person out there, but I was waiting for my turn to get up to bat, but I'm doing something now. So again, the people that we're trying to reach out to is that young group. The Black Panthers, when they got started, those were a bunch of young people.
Yes.
Those were, and them young warriors took the bull by the horn and really made a difference to the point that our government pulled out all stops, legal and non-legal, to annihilate this group of people. that was trying to bring this unification within our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And so again, why is it when we try to stand up, we get labeled? And then too, speaking of labels,
BIE.
let them. Yeah, that's the new one now. That investigates anybody that.
I heard about that.
Exactly.
That's what you're talking
So
about.
yeah, we have to be careful.
Because they actually took someone down.
Exactly.
Okay.
But there are other organizations. I don't know what they call it. The letters are for them, but they are outright there doing it in front of everybody, and I bet you they're not on a list.
Oh, I'll say it. KKK.
She said, I'll say it.
KKK, Aryan Nation. I remember when I was in the Marine Corps stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. This was in 1980s, as late as this date, I was there before 19, but 1980. It was in February 1980. The KKK had a lodge down off of Marine Boulevard, and what they did was they had a march. Now the base, they knew that there were a lot of black Marines in that area. They told us to get on those Continental Trailways because there was a bus station there by Court Street. We had to get on that bus and be back on the base at a certain time because we had to be off the street because that was the only way they could guarantee our safety. Those clowns marched down the street. Those are the same clowns that I had to defend and protect. But the thing about it is that that's a terrorist organization that's never been identified as a terrorist group.
No, it's not.
No. So, I mean, but see, we're trying to address this little pieces of things.
Okay.
And things like, things like that. What we plan on doing too as well is have like a movie night or something that re-educate our people about their history, because this current history is tainted, and it's not, first and foremost, it's not true, and it's that way for a purpose. And again, when we were speaking earlier, how our ancestors across the water don't even know about some of the plights that the blacks have suffered in this country. So all they see is what the media portrays. Right. And so they come over here with an attitude towards us, and of course now all that we know is jungle and Tarzan about them. Yeah. And it's some of the most beautiful cities in the world.
You're right. And then we're going to touch on when you come back, because you are so right. And that's, I need more than an hour. All right, we're going to take a break, y'all. We're coming right back. We're going to take a break, y'all. Coming right back.
It's that time of year again. Do you understand? The second annual toy drive, your chance to give back to the community by helping a child have a happy holiday. Stop by Voxwave Studios, 4711 Auth Place, Suitland, Maryland, and donate all your unwrapped toys no later than December 20th. It's our second annual toy drive, sponsored by Urban Style Media, Voxwave.com, and Star Imports, the home of the boutique car buying experience. So enjoy your holidays and give back to the kids of the DMV.
Business owners looking for a place to advertise your business and promote your products and services? Voxwave is the right place. We have over 10,000 views a day and 70,000 listeners a month. For more information, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Voxwave now features a streaming radio media player on our website's front page, where local artists can get their music played 24/7. For more information on getting your music in rotation or to perform live at our studio, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Android users, the Voxwave app is now available in the Google Play Store. Download the app today on your Android device to listen in and view programs.
DJ Rick Entertainment.
DJ Rick Entertainment, hottest DJ in the DMV area, CEO of Step Your Game Up and the Youth Project Show, the DJ on the Heartbeat Conga Hour, and sound engineer for a variety of bands. DJ Rick Entertainment is your #1 company for all your stage and sound event needs. Call 202-390-1151. That's 202-390-1151.
DJ Rick Entertainment.
Hey, y'all, we are back. We have so much to talk about. We got to take a break and breathe because we were just talking this is some educational stuff. This is stuff that's not privy to everyone. So I'm hoping y'all really tuning in and paying attention. So we're back with T-LIMS. You know I like saying it. T-LIMS is the acronyms for The Lord is My Shepherd.
All right.
LLC. Look, I got to add that on there too.
Yes.
And they're talking about everything that's under T-LIMS. Because it's like a tree, the roots, the main, the body, and then the branches and everything that they're doing to. It's awesome. So we've been talking a lot. So now we're back because we still got more to do. We actually don't. They're going to have to come back, y'all, because we got so seriously. Even when they do the play, it's just a lot because they're using local actors or local actors for this play. Mm-hmm. And this play is educational. Mm-hmm. So we need, for the children to be there. It's so much coming from that. So trust me, even when it's time for that, we coming back. We need. Oh my gosh, it's so much. They're going to be back. Because we're going to be working together. I put that out there in the universe. So, yes. I'm spoken to you. Okay, what's the next thing?
Well,
True, and true.
How are you going to top that? But anyway, again, keep this in mind, too. And we want everybody to be involved in this. You know what I mean? We say we.
But we mean
you. We mean us. As a whole, and we need everybody collectively involved in this because we need to start doing for us, and so again, if that takes re-educating, it's so much work that we have to do.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's so much work that we have to do.
Tell about Across the Water Bridge.
Oh, well, see, there's so much.
It is. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot.
So much. Again, we propose through T-LIMS to do it like a re-educating as far as telling about some of our achievements and giving ourselves a sense of who we are. Mm-hmm. If you don't know your history is doomed to repeat itself, and thus we see it now. Only they're using the different methods and the means, but history is repeating itself. And in the meantime and in between time, we are getting further and further behind. So again, we want to re-educate. We want to reach out to our brothers and sisters all over the world. Mm-hmm. I was looking at a map, a world map, one day, and I was looking at the various countries, and I saw Africa. Then I looked at Africa, and I took Africa and I placed it over America and Canada.
Oh,
we dwarfed
and Canada.
It, and then put South America in there, and it still didn't compare it. So I took Africa again, and I put it over in Asia. Where's Asia? And I took it and I put Asia with Europe. I couldn't see it. We have that kind of power structure, not a country, but a continent.
Yeah.
So again, if we can unify that continent worldwide, could you imagine the economical environment that we will have as a whole? Then you'll see change.
And in Ghana, I apologize.
Go ahead.
In Ghana, they really are trying to get Americans to come back home.
Actually, I've heard of people moving. Some Americans have moved.
Their government has enabled it so that you can have dual citizenship.
Awesome.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. And because if you look at the slave ships, we're studying these now because of the Banana project we're working on. The ships off the coast of Ivory Coast and areas Sierra Leone and Ghana, and then some parts of Nigeria, some of the ports, if you look at it. So a lot of us, actually, that's where the majority of our ancestry actually comes from. So what we did was with a magazine called Atu, which means hug.
Atu
means hug. Francis Adams is the owner and the publisher of that magazine, and he is... he's family.
This guy is great. He builds websites. He's from Ghana.
Awesome.
He's the
He's
author
creative energy.
Yes,
the
he is.
editor of this magazine.
He's the owner.
The colors and the pictures are so vibrant that they just jump out the page at you. But you know something? This is our heritage. And they want to bridge the gap. Because again, I say there's a lot that they don't know. And again, for whatever reason, they keep us apart because separation brings about division, but united we stand, divided we fall, of course. Right. So again, if we're all over the world.
Oh, I know that.
We're all over the world.
But you know, one of the things that I can say is that when you go to universities, I retired from teaching school.
Okay.
When you go to university and you're going to get a bachelor's degree in anything, any kind of bachelor's degree.
Yes.
One of the subjects you have to have is Western civilization, European civilization.
Oh yeah.
You have to have your 6 semester hours or your 9 quarter hours, whichever way your school system set up. But in that, they touched briefly about Muslims, and they touched a little bit about the Zoroastrianism and talked about Sumerians and Mesopotamia. And then they mostly focus on the European countries. They don't even hit a lot on Asia except for the Mongols and Genghis Khan and Marco Polo. They'll hit that, and then they'll blast the Chinese for the Boxer Rebellion that they did in the early 1900s, kicking all the foreigners out of their country. So you learn all these things about all these different peoples. So we learn about everybody else, and we're required to in order to be successful in anything, quote unquote successful. In order for you to learn anything about black studies or anything about black, you have to take a specific course on African American studies or black history. Or why is that the case? Why is there not an insistence upon incorporating history
into our schools?
All of it.
I know.
So because a lot of our brothers and sisters from the continent of Africa and Ghana and Senegal, they come here. They come to get college degrees. Their college degree is also the same thing. They don't have any definition of the American descendant of slaves. The DOS is us. So they don't know. So all they see is what they see and what they're told. So there should be an outrage nationally that it should be incorporated. If you're going to have this type of studies, have this type of studies as a requirement too. So those of you out there that are in academia, jump on that and get on board with that. Not just in college levels, but in high school and elementary school, middle schools, the textbooks don't have they Black History Month. No, we are history.
Period.
We are history, and we had to get a month because other than that, you wouldn't give us an opportunity to interject. But us having this relationship, building this bridge, is enabling us to tell them our story. One of the articles we wrote, or we were asked to write, was about to review the Black Panther movie.
Right.
And from the eyes of Black Americans. Yes. Now, we talked about how regal it was and how wonderful it was to be in Wakanda. You see everyone, you see this council of different tribes together and how they collectively.
In that movie was awesome.
Oh my. Denzel, you weren't there, but you were represented well.
I can't with you.
They have all these different council members from these different tribes.
Yeah.
And then they came to a decision collectively. And then the king executed it.
Right.
That's how our form of government. That's the way
we are. They were a viable government.
They were viable governments, but they came together and they expressed, this is what we don't like and we need this. And so it was like, okay, well, let's work on figuring out.
Gotcha.
So we've gotten away from that. But we talked about that. But then I said, I left out the movie theater and I woke up. Because here's the thing. As much as I like T'Challa in the movie, T'Chaka abandoned his nephew. That was Killmonger.
Yeah.
You abandoned him. So that way, in some ways, that makes us feel like we feel today, like we're the stepchildren, we're the half-children, we're the half-brothers, we're the half-sisters. And we got it left behind. So we don't know anything. We just know bits and pieces. So we are the lost tribe. And so when Killmonger saw what really was going on, you couldn't hear him because he was filled with this anger and this passion that we as Black Americans rightfully have. It's just how do we execute it in a helpful way. And you couldn't hear it because you had this jaded view of what the Black experience was. So we would never have appreciated having that CIA agent in Shuri's lab. We talked about this in our article because we have history. We talked in the article about how in less than a decade, the most revolutionary leaders in this country were assassinated. 63 Medgar, 65 Malcolm, 68 Martin, and then 70 Hampton. Or was he 72? Fred Hampton, done. So our prolific voices were X'd out. And so that was it. And everything else is kind of being watered down since then. So the great minds and great leaders. And our demise for black people in this country, descendants of slaves, was that the government always interfered with us negatively. So our view of government interference and involvement is not the same way. Do you know we receive so many responses? People have sent us different artifacts from.
Really?
Ooh, all over. Yes. Our
that's awesome.
Our living room, golly, it's almost a museum.
But I think that's awesome.
Yes.
It's almost a museum. But you know something, that shows you them reaching out.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They're sending you love.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly. And you like,
wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
We got pieces like this. We got on the wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, okay.
Yeah.
Let me jump here off of that. Now, of course, we have the Black Museum now.
Yes.
Woo. But I bet you only a handful of blacks went to it or were allowed. Every black school in the DMV area, it should be a field trip.
Start before that.
Exactly.
Remember, we went up there that time. We were out in the area and we saw the people from Egypt because the president was here. El Fattah al-Sisi was there, and all those different schools. And none of the schools were black.
Yeah.
Okay.
None.
So again, T-Lips wants to bring the schools as well as the people aware of what's going on so they can have, I hate this word, but inclusion.
Okay.
And inclusion has hurt us in a lot of ways, to whereas now that I'm included, but you're not included. So, like I said, I dislike that word.
Okay.
But still, it's a part of our heritage and a part of our history that's been hidden from us. That maybe if these young kids, and you start them at an early age, to understand. We were at the museum, and we were at the Black Panthers.
The display.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the museum.
At the museum.
African American Museum.
Because I've been to the museum, but it was before the Black Panther came out. Okay.
Yeah. A young black man, teenager, said, "Oh, wow, I didn't know they did that. I didn't know they had the food program. I didn't know they did this for the community. I thought they were a gang."
They were a gang. Pause.
Oh, who was a gang? Okay, go ahead.
The Black Panthers were a gang. This is a young black man talking.
Yeah. He just thought they were a gang.
He thought they were a gang.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
He kept going over and over. Like, really?
Yeah, because that part was education. Because I'm just being honest. In my 43 years, because I never would. Anyway, when I saw that part and when I started reading, I was like, they did a lot. Because they really went in depth on that particular, putting back into the community. They made sure, like, if the parents was working, they had someone to pick up the children, bring them, make sure they had something to eat, make sure they did their homework. Like, it was the community of all.
The community, exactly.
I was like, that is awesome.
Right.
But the way that it was portrayed, it was portrayed like they were, okay.
But we remember that in real time. And then our parents, his mom and my mom, were civic-minded women.
Wow.
And active in the community. So those were things that we grew up seeing in real time.
Yeah, awesome.
And but you want to talk about Simmons College?
Yeah, because I want to make sure, because we just talked about the bridge. Okay, so we just talked about, because there's still more stuff.
Since we mentioned your mom.
So we talk about the bridge in Ghana, and then we're going to talk about, because we got to get this one, and then the scholarships. Y'all still got so much, and we only got like,
Tell them about your mom.
My mother, coming from a single-parent home,
Okay.
raised 5 knucklehead boys and a daughter. She passed when I was 14 or 15.
Wow.
So, in remembrance of her, what we've decided, Simmons College of Kentucky, I got it right?
Yes, you do.
Simmons College in Kentucky.
Which is a college from former...
It's an HBCU.
Yeah.
It's an HBCU. President of the college is the Reverend Dr. Kevin W. Cosby, who's also the pastor of St. Stephen Church. Has 3 campuses down there in Louisville, Kentucky. Down there, one by Fort Knox, and then one over in Indiana. Phenomenal ministry, phenomenal campus. It's one of the few HBCUs, one of the few that was actually started by former slaves. And it's named after one of those gentlemen, Dr. Simmons. He was the 2nd president of that college.
Awesome.
Most HBCUs can't claim that name.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So Simmons
So
College.
that's the college we decide that we're going to create a scholarship
Yes.
in my mom's name.
Yes.
For some of the students. So that's our way. Hold on.
Which students?
No, right. I'm
He about to
getting
break
it.
that down. Look at that.
Yeah. I'm going to clarify. You can best believe.
I know who it's
But it's created for the students, and and most scholarships are geared towards your A, B students. So this is geared towards your C students that sometimes get overlooked.
Yes.
Now, we don't want you to stay at that C average.
Of course.
Because the following year, if you want to use the scholarship, you got to bump your grade average
awesome.
up. So that gives you some incentive.
It does.
Some incentive to improve.
Yes.
We don't want you stagnant or be complacent that, well, I
Being
can
at
get
a
by
C
with just a
average,
C.
right.
Yeah, no. If you want this scholarship, you're going to have to improve. So that's our way, another way that we use, that we're going to use through TLIMS of giving back.
Yes.
And again, so again.
But it's
us-
for black males, but it's specifically for black males.
That in high
Specifically,
school, correct?
well, that would not get an opportunity because there's a billion of opportunities for everybody else, but our young black men.
Yes.
And we want to get them back into their manhood, get them back to the on track with their manhood.
Of course.
How you don't want to be a man? I mean, if that's what you were born, I mean, I'm just saying that's just my opinion.
That's a whole
but
other show, sir.
yeah, that's another show, right?
Yes.
But anyway, again, so you have some kind of self-worth. You can hold your head up high, and then you know something. Somebody help me, so let me reach back and
exactly
help
pay it forward,
somebody
please
else.
and thank you. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So so we have a chain
Yep.
like this.
I love that.
And we're pulling everybody up.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
As a whole.
I like
so again, so make a difference in someone's life. I use this phrase, and it goes along with our TLIMS thing, and I said, continue to be a blessing to somebody else.
Of course.
And it doesn't matter how great or small.
That's right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you just, it can be as simple as a hello.
Yep.
Good morning.
Yep. A smile and put a smile on and turn on someone else's face.
Which leads us to
Because I'm trying to get it all in because I'm like, my time is like.
Making It Plain is a book with slam poetry, prose.
Yes.
And
We're good at poetry.
Oh,
Okay, go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm telling you. But this book, 100% of the proceeds are going to Simmons College. So when the book comes out, it'll be on Amazon. Buy it.
Well, you know I'm a
First-
blast it, so.
First of all, this is not about making money. Everything that we do comes out of our own pocket, and I'm saying this because this is the truth. We don't have any corporation on this because the one thing that we do know is that we were here for a purpose, and our purpose is not for ourselves. You see what I mean? Someone else, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, my great-great-grandmama, I remember that's how I learned how to shoot. We used to go out in the woods. I'm 5 generations underneath, and I was fortunate and blessed to be able to be with her for an extended time in my life. They imported inside of us all different kinds of things, and they let us know very early in our lives that it wasn't always about the bottom dollar, about the dollar. It was about worth, and your self-worth doesn't come through money, because millionaires commit suicide every day.
Oh, I know.
So this book, it talks about, there's a piece in there about the racism that we more chocolate sisters and brothers incur in our own community, and how that makes you feel damaged. People don't realize how that makes you feel inside, and that's an extra weight that you have. There's a piece was in there about procrastination. I'll give you a little hint. There was it's just when you say you're supposed to do something and you kind of put it off, and then you're not able to do it.
Yep.
It's done.
It's done.
Then you can't
you
go
have
back
that window of opportunity to do it.
Yep.
And
It's gone.
it's gone. It sure is.
There's pieces in there about being in church, and how church hurts are the worst hurts, and how you still can get through those things. And then there's pieces in there about the joy of joy. You know, just the joy of joy.
It feels awesome.
And how we have to get to that place. But it's written, what we call Dr. Seuss for adults, because it's an easy read.
Right.
It's an easy read, but it's poignant, it's to the point, but it's for like I said, the proceeds are for Simmons College, for the young students that are there. There are some citizens that are returning citizens that attend there too.
Okay.
So this enables them to have money for their schooling too as well. So however Simmons allocates it, which we trust them because they have been proven to be trustworthy. So.
Okay, y'all. Now let me tell y'all something, because I know it's so much. I'm gonna have to have them back on, because it's still more that we haven't even got into. You see me looking at y'all because it was so much that we could still go on. So listen, and this is now from what I got from all of this. T. Limbs, the Lord is my shepherd. No, T. Limbs, what they're doing is that the things that they're doing and the proceeds that they get from everything that they're doing is coming back in, and they're paying that forward. So that's why it's like the roots and the base of the tree and to the limbs, because it's like a full circle. Do you understand? So when this book come out, trust and believe. I'm putting it on blast. I'm going to remind y'all. I'm putting it on Facebook. I'm putting it on my Instagram. Tell you where to buy, because I'm going to be purchasing some to give to others as a gift. And I always tell y'all that's what you do. If you really love someone, you want them to be aware and to become a better self of anything, period. This is what you do. They have a play coming up to where... So it's much, much more. And they take all these proceeds and pay it for it. So we're about to wrap it up. So anything you need to say real quick that's going to take like 20 seconds?
You got
Sure.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
The secret in the receiving is in the giving.
Okay. I love that.
That's the secret.
That's all you needed to say, sir.
Wow, touche.
Awesome. I'll come over there and hug you right now with all that goodness. No, that was awesome. Good job. Look, what you did.
That's to sum it up.
Anything you want to give out, baby? Because that was awesome.
We're unapologetically black. We support black businesses. Do the same. This book is being published by Eagle Print and Design.
Right.
And that's a black-owned company by a black female,
Yes.
Yvonne Clark. The company that's publishing it is Imagination Press, and that's Teresa Hamilton.
And I know
that's
them.
a black one.
Yes.
That's right. And
I know
then,
Teresa.
And then we have graphic design by Francis Adams, and that's Atu. So that's black-owned. We are if you don't buy from us,
It's okay.
we're not gonna
Or
make
if
it.
you
It's gonna happen.
if you have a book in you,
Yeah.
we have a publisher for you. We have editors for you.
got
We need to
friends.
get
We
your
good.
stuff out there. So again, springboard.
Bye.
They'll be back.
Happy
Would you
New Year.
say for me too smooth? Satina and Keena and Kenya.